Okay, good morning, everyone. Today it is Friday, the 14th of July, halfway through the month already. Last week, when we had the Launch Partners call, Mike and I asked you to come to this call with the answers to a question. I'll remind you of the question that we asked, because the format for today, we really just want to open it up so that each of you can have the chance to share your thoughts and feelings in regards to this question, and we can go from there. So what we asked was for each of you to contribute today in sharing some of your strategies for the flow of building your business and the reach out mechanisms. We've talked a lot about contacting, we've talked a lot about follow-up, we've talked about the activity in between the meetings, the rhythm, the schedule, all that kind of thing. What we want to do is be able to hear back from each of you some of the things that you do to facilitate that. Along with that as well, of course, I think it's healthy and appropriate in this group. If there are areas where you get stuck, if there is a particular aspect of that flow or strategy that you struggle with, then please let us know that as well. Kind of share that. We might get some answers amongst the group, or we might be able to give some response over the coming week. So again, I've got everyone on mute all. Anything, Mike, do you want to unmute and just anything you want to add to that before we open it up?
Yeah, just to recap that, we sort of ended last week on the time that you would deliberate and apply yourselves over the last week or two, and any reach out methods that have been introduced that you've been using, that you've been working on to increase your contact list. So this, you can call today's session maybe a tip session, best practices, and see what we can gain from each other's experience on that. Last week, I sort of gave you one of my best tips, and that is, and Dave, I don't know if you listened to that call, but you have an audio called Telephone Mastery. We'd like to get that in circulation again through maybe one of your podcasts, if you could release that or re-release that, because that's an excellent audio for attracting more customers or more prospects. And that was just simply by asking somebody for one referral. And I like that if you went back to your contact list with the expectation of asking for help. So I'm not wondering how many of you out there are applying this, have applied this, what's your experience with it, and any other methods that you're using, whether it's internet, Facebook, social media, advertising. What are you doing to increase the flow of traffic to come your way?
Yeah. So to that end, if you want to unmute your line and share your thoughts, your feedback, your ideas, we're passing the time now over to each of you. And of course, please don't be shy.
Okay, hi, I won't be shy. It's Michelle.
Hey, Michelle.
How's it going?
Very good, very good. How are you?
Good. Well, I'd like to share my success that I've had, and especially with the weight management program.
Yeah.
It's a matter of really building those relationships and calling upon those people that you have built relationships for, finding out maybe if they are ready, whatever it is that you're looking for. In this case, it was the weight management, but now I'm going to approach these people as partners. And if they're not ready, asking them if they know of somebody who is. And it worked hugely successful for me for this program that I was running for.
Yeah. And of course the results for you have been better than fantastic, haven't they?
It's been, you know what, it's been overwhelmingly very surprising.
Yeah.
And I'm really blown away. But you know what, Ben, what really caught my heart was the fact how much the people I built the relationships with over time, how much they cared. They cared enough to help me reach my goals. That is awesome.
Yeah. Like, can you just expand a little bit on that point about building the relationships? Because we talked on that a little bit last week when we were talking about the number of contacts before someone says yes. 80% of sales come between the 5th and 12th contact, which means you can't get into that space without building relationships. Yeah. And that's where the sale comes, or the commitment comes, but that really comes as a consequence of the relationship. What are some things that you do to build that rapport, build that relationship, and keep those contacts going?
Well, I've got an email list, and I definitely ask anybody that I talk with, I ask them if they'd be interested if I add them to my contact list, that I will be passing on information, not just for NECAM, but for wellness.
Yeah.
And if they wish to remain there, then awesome. If they want to be deleted, fine. Over the last 10 years that I've been doing this, I've only had 2 people ask to be deleted.
Wow.
So that's a huge retention rate.
Yeah.
I find that awesome. But what I also do is I don't make phone calls just for a sale. I'll pick up the phone. All of a sudden, a name on my list will pop out for whatever reason. I'll pick up the phone and say, you know what, I was thinking about you today. How's it going? And just build the relationship that way. Find out what's happening with those individuals, and it builds that relationship stronger because I'm reaching out because I care. And that's the difference is you're not doing it for your own personal growth or goals. You're doing it because you care and you want to provide the best service possible for those individuals. And I will take my really like what I call my wellness home customers, take them out for lunch, take them out to a movie. Twice annually, I have a customer appreciation luncheon where I open up my house, my home, to my customers. They're welcome to come. And what happens at that event is customers are selling for me.
Yeah.
Because they're talking about their experiences.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you've raised some really good points there. What I like is, when we talk about making contacts every day, a lot of people can feel very overwhelmed. A lot of people from the previous calls, when we talked about the need for follow-up, felt a great sense of relief and reassurance that not every call that they made when they're contacting people every day was a cold call, was a sales call, was an invite call, but there was follow-up, there was relationship building. And I love what you say there, where sometimes you're phoning up, a lot of the time, you're phoning up not for a sales agenda, but how are you doing? You came to mind today. I'm just wondering what you're up to. How are things? Arranging times to go out for a drink together, to a movie, have lunch, all these things to build relationship. That should be, I hope, for everyone on the call, that should help make those calls less daunting. There is a lot of people that are afraid to pick up the phone. But if we're doing it because we want to be friendly and nice, then that's not so daunting, is it? That's not so scary at all. So
it really breaks the ice when you do that, Ben. I mean, if we were to practice, just picking up the phone to say hello.
Madeline,
and
your line is.
Just pause just a second, Madeline. I'm gonna mute your line and then unmute it. Sometimes that kind of pulls it off. 1 second. So where are we? I'm gonna mute and then unmute. Do you want to try now?
Okay.
Yeah, better.
How's that? Okay. Just by picking up the phone, and sometimes if that's all we do, we've started building that relationship just by picking up the phone to say, hi, how are you?
Yeah.
And sometimes in that conversation, you're going to find a need that you didn't even realize was there, and maybe they didn't even realize was there.
Yeah.
So that could bring an opportunity to set up a meeting, and it might not just yet, but that doesn't mean that you don't keep in touch with that individual. That is important.
Yeah, yeah.
I also do the same thing on Facebook, and I will send private messages to contacts on Facebook to find out what's going on with them, and on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, yesterday, a complete stranger that, because I was putting postings on about NECAN on LinkedIn, all of a sudden we started a chat, and he wants to buy several sleep systems and some quilts. He was a former consultant. He's not interested at this point in time to have a look at the business again, but I've picked up another customer. So you know what? I've started building that relationship. I don't know where it's going to go from there.
Yeah, yeah. I really like that. I think it's important to have those contacts via social media, those private messages as well. I've had experiences. I'm not sure if you've experienced this, and maybe you might be guilty of having done it yourself. But there's a lady that I know that's in another network marketing company, and she knows that I'm in network marketing, and we see each other from time to time socially, but don't really chat. It's just kind of ships crossing. Yeah, every now and then we'll cross paths. And a little while ago, she reached out via Facebook, private messaged me, and invited me to join her business. It was a straight to the point, direct invitation. Come and join. I think you'd do well here. We're doing really good. Blah blah blah. I responded and said, "Thank you very much. No, thank you. I'm good where I am, but grateful for the invitation." I didn't get a response. I'd not heard from her for, there had been no direct contact before in regards to how you doing. Hey, I like seeing the pictures of the family on Facebook. Just thought I'd say hi. We're doing this, we're doing that. There was no preamble in the form of some contact leading up to it. Direct invitation, and not even well, thank you for your time. Grateful that we could at least have no response afterwards. What are the chances, if she was to ever come back to me, that I would ever want to have some sense of, would I feel that was any kind of legitimate, sincere, authentic connection? I wouldn't. It was out of the blue, direct contact, no hearing back from her afterwards. It's really important that we understand exactly what Michelle's saying. This process of building relationships, keeping in touch, maintaining friendships. And we've all had that contact as well, where out of the blue, a friend from high school that you've not spoken to in goodness knows how many years reaches out and says, "I've got an opportunity. I was just thinking of you. Maybe you'd be good." Because they're creating their 100 names list and you're on it. And it's like, "Oh, I haven't heard from you for 20 years. And straight into the business opportunity invite. It's critical what Michelle's saying. And the great thing is, what I like about it is it's not scary being friendly. It shouldn't be intimidating in an effort to be nice. That's it. That's all we're doing. We're being nice, we're being friendly, and we're keeping in touch with people. What a great way to build the business. So really good, Michelle, really good.
Hey, Michelle, you've got a real great angle right now. You can contact everybody and say, "Listen, I just qualified for a trip to Japan and I'm looking to help 4 other people qualify with me by the end of the year. Are you interested?"
Yeah, what a great line.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you. Yeah, that is awesome. And Ben, what you were saying, this fellow Tony, and I asked him, I came straight out and asked him, even though we'd kind of been conversing, not really doing much, but conversing. And I came out and asked him, I didn't realize you were with Nikan before. Are you interested in revisiting the business opportunity? And he flat out said no. And I went back to him immediately and I wished him well with his endeavors. Yeah. He just retired. I wished him well and lots of health and happiness for his retirement. Immediately he come back and he wants to purchase product. So, it's right. It's amazing when you absolutely care about the individual. And because they say no, that doesn't mean you stop caring.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And that's the really important thing. And I think sometimes it's all the more important when someone says no to have the follow-up contact. So a lot of us kind of stop there and go, okay, they said no, I'll back off. But it's so important to have that follow-up contact to let them know that the relationship is authentic, that the no doesn't compromise the relationship, and we're still friends, I'm still interested. That's an invitation there, but that doesn't mean that's all our relationship is.
I think that's a huge point, Ben. Maybe a lot of people afraid to add a name onto their list or contact that person on their list because they're afraid of getting a no. They don't know how they're going to deal with the no, let alone the other person. They might feel that compromises the relationship or causes them to feel awkward the next time they engage that person. But if you go at it the way that Michelle's describing, and especially if somebody was new listening to this, you were brand new, to have this knowledge, to know that everyone on that list is going to be respected and that whether they say yes or no, it's still an effort on your part to make an impact on them. And it may not be now. No is never really no. It's just only ever not now. So we respect that possibility as well. So therefore, it's just really an outreach to see if there's a time and a place that this person might be interested in what you have to offer, but that you are not personally affected by that decision at that point in time, because it's not about you. Yeah. It's about where they're at. So I think now this is kind of common knowledge, I think, among professionals, but there's a lot of people that we engage in NECAN and in network marketing in general that are coming into this industry for the first time, coming into being an entrepreneur for the first time, and have not yet cultivated these skills. So the sooner they learn this, especially if you're sponsoring somebody new, I think phone conversations, telephone mastery, as Dave's audio, and everything and anything that you've gained from these conversations that you can impart to them will help make them become more professional about how they do their phone work, and become very careful with how they manage that contact list, so that that contact list is not a declining list, but a list that continues to grow. Yeah.
Excellent. Really good points, Mike. Really good. Anyone else? Any other thoughts from others? Things that you've done to reach out, build the rapport, keep the contacts going, build the contact list?
I'd like to segue on to what Michelle did, because we've been working together. I mentioned this last week. Yeah. So as a result of my injury, it's just opened up lots of, I apologize about that, lots of visits here. They've been overlapping one another. And so with people coming in and out, I have a friend who, was never going to do this. He is so excited. And so he's been in and out, picking up more products, promoting them, wants to help others. So he knows in the community the 3 or 4 that are launching a silver run. Yeah. So he's coming up for more conversations with them. He's being the A with them. Called again this morning, has more. Last night, the other thing on this communication and trust, before our Thursday evening time, a Latino leader in the community that I had in the works for 3 years, so did one of my first level executives. And it was one of those conversations with him about network marketing, the scam, the whatever. And in that last conversation, he agreed to come. So I had her come at the same time. He was surprised to see that because of the experience that he had before. They were amazed at what was happening. The focus was on service, on fun, on food, on communication, and they stayed for the event. And it was a very powerful ending. This woman had a profound product experience. She wanted to share it. She got on to the end of the video and ended up crying. Well, it ended up with a new distributor and an excited other distributor. She hasn't been busy, hasn't been calling to actively work on ABCs, and she didn't expect me to call her back for him. And he didn't expect me to call her back. And so that point about the long-term relationships and the seeds that have been planted over time. And then the other thing that happened, there's another business unit going. Well, a lot of these people know one another, and they're seeing the integrity in supporting who knows who, and not being kind of greedy about who's going to get who. This is for the benefit of this community. And is this really, and last night with Michelle doing such a good job at emphasizing the human being more, and so many of the people here on it, it was just such a beautiful ending and such a beautiful way to leverage what we're doing with the live ABC. And we've had more of that. There's been a better turnout. There have been other in-homes at the same time where they can see other people and learn also how network marketing or the NECAN Advantage plan is different. Yeah. And being able to leverage this approach than what we've had before. So what's happened, we have this core group that's been meeting on with Dr. Stan's call on Monday nights and Thursday nights, and many are on here today, this core group. And so that collaborative support that we've had with one another, and for the new prospects to see, Barb in Richmond, Virginia, and Sandra had a new prospect that I had done a Zoom with, and he was on with new people, and she texted me afterwards, this is like it, 2 times in a row, and how fascinated he was with what he saw last night. And he may be on here today, I'm not sure. So this collaboration that we're doing with our launch partner teams has been absolutely critical in the relationship building and the trusting. And there's some others on here. They may want to comment about that. And a little bit, Mike, as you've said, when you start dropping those pebbles down, a little bit of competitiveness. Well, maybe I need to get busier now too. And what is it that you're doing? And, we're having a little bit of that energy happening also.
I want to sort of see if we can get on the topic of hints or helpful hints with respect to increasing the numbers in the outreach, like rather than dialogue about what's going on, real tips for...
Okay, then the tip to make my point is asking for referrals. Asking for referrals, not putting any pressure on the person, and getting more referrals and getting more interest. And I'm going to wait to see what happens. And the interest is there and developing. So that asking for referrals has been most critical, and seeing more people and having that 3-foot goal with more ABCs out of the people that are there. The old coffee shop of having appointments and having people have to wait and then have their turn for the appointment. And so my coffee shop has been here, and that has been working. Not having the pressure on signups or an immediate order, but the relationships and asking for referrals.
Can I share a point? I know we were reaching out, but can I share one that I think is really helpful as well? Just kind of coming off the back of what Madeline was saying. We have a sobering statistic in NECAN where many of our registered customers will place one order and then stop. Yeah, there's a lot of that happens in our businesses. So to that end, a great way to reach out to find more people is to reconnect with our existing registered customers and do some follow-up. Reconnect with people that are already in our organization that maybe have stopped working or have disengaged or have stepped back for different reasons, to reconnect and rebuild those relationships or keep those relationships developing. I think that's a really important point. If we've got customers in our personal group that have only placed one order, then we've got an awful lot of potential there that we can work with very quickly.
They say the retention costs are 1/16 of the acquisition costs. So if you look at that in terms of effort and energy.
Yeah, there's so much more effort that goes into finding a new person than it is to connecting with someone that's already in. Yeah. So, follow-up doesn't just apply to prospects and potential customers. It also applies to people within our own teams and within our own infrastructure.
I love the conversation that's going on. This is the heart of it all. And Michelle, kudos to you. All the stuff you're saying is just so right on. One thing I would do as a business tip that would be a lot of fun, pressure off, be highly effective, and once a month make a decision that you're going to take someone out to lunch without any, maybe even promise yourself you're not going to mention NECAN. Just it's all about them. Get to know them, be interested in them. How can you serve them? And that might take the pressure completely off by saying, I am not going to talk to them about NECAN no matter what. And just see if you can hold true to that and just relax, have fun with this. But when I think of this, it's all about people. And it's so when you really realize that we have an infinite resource for intents and purposes, the millions of people, and everyone really is looking for what we have, but just don't be the classic network marketer and barf on everybody and just think, oh, I. It's all about what Michelle, it's serving. And that classic thing that we've all heard, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. People do things for their reasons, not for your reasons. Yeah. And so just genuinely be interested in other people. Look at this as a wonderful gift that we can offer people that can change their whole life. But listen to them. What do they want? And just relax and have fun with it. And some other things. The follow up. That is the statistics. Most often that's how it happens. But on the other hand, if you have your antennas up and you're genuinely interested in people, something might happen. We just went to Costco, and they have all of these people with samples and stuff like this, and there was this really nice lady, and Valerie noticed she had some kind of a brace thing on her foot, and said, "Oh, what's that? That must not feel very good." And anyway, this lady just started talking all over, and then it was just real easy to just say, "Hey, we've got something we'd like to try on you. It's all upside and no downside. If you're living here local, we'd like to have you experiment with us." And she said, "Oh, yes, I'm interested." And so we got her contact information, and we're going to get some tape to her. But it's out there, and it could happen instantly. But on the other hand, statistically, it is 4, 5, 6 follow-ups. And so it's a 100-yard dash, and it's a marathon at the same time, all going at the same time. And it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, Mike, that the 100-yard dash and a marathon at the same time, it's really learning to go at the pace of the person that you're with, finding out their needs. It's a lot of listening. It's moving at their pace. It's a little bit of a dance, isn't it, in that context? But as we wrap up the call, what I'd like to do is just recap some of the points that have been made today to summarize some of the critical suggestions, recommendations that have been shared. 5 to 12 contacts is where 80% of the sales come, where 80% of the decisions are made. That means, in line with what Michelle was saying, a lot of those contacts are focused on building relationships. Picking up the phone and saying hi, just because you want to say hi and find out how they're doing. Opening up your home, inviting people to come in and to get together and be social. I like what Madeline shared as well. Asking for referrals is a great way of reaching out and connecting with people. Having your home become the coffee shop, people lining up one after the other. Great example there. I love what Dave said as well. Have a goal to take someone out to lunch at least once a month with the intent of building relationships and with the commitment, I'm not going to talk about the business. It's all about listening, getting acquainted, building relationships, and looking for ways to serve. We also talked about reaching out to our existing customer base and the existing people within our organization already. A lot of people place one order and stop. A lot of people will recruit one person and stop. Let's get back in touch with them. Do the follow-up, be the friend, show the interest, show the love, and look for ways to serve. It all comes back to reaching out to people, finding out how they're doing, building relationships, being a great person, being a great friend. And it's hard to get rejection when your goal is to be a friend to someone. It's pretty tough to get a no there, isn't it? And what a great way to increase the odds of positive response when our goal is to be a kind friend to the people we're connecting with. That's nice. Hopefully this makes the phone calls less intimidating when we're picking them up saying we've got to do some calls today. Maybe it's not going to be so scary now when we know we're reaching out to people that we know, people in our business that have already said yes, looking for ways to be friendly, looking for ways to say hi, connecting, being good, being nice. What a great way to connect and build the business. Mike, any last thoughts?
I actually, at the risk of adding something to the discussion, I'm just going to drop it in here, and then you can sort of mull it over and we can pick it up again next week. But the idea that comes to mind is there's a number of network marketing companies who have done exceptionally well by these in-home type campaigns where they would take a customer and they would incentivize the customer to open their house up to their friends and relatives to introduce the Nikken products for some type of an incentive, some type of a reward. It could be a water product like a water bottle or something. Think of it as a worthwhile investment. If you were giving someone a product, the cost of that versus the cost of the acquisition of new customers as a result of that, or the benefit from the acquisition of new customers, that could really be an engine that continues to perpetuate more and more and more in-home type meetings. Simply put, a happy customer is probably going to be happy to share this information, but if they're incentivized where the products are concerned, doubly so. And so they might open their home, invite some friends, etc. And then from that group, you might have, again, another group of customers, and so on and so forth. So another way to create a type of campaign and reach out mechanism. Pick your favorite product or maybe pick their favorite product. I don't know how you go about it, but just something to think about as to how you can start creating a way of reaching out into the community, getting into people's warm market through these types of incentives.
I know you said, running the risk of adding when we're about to close, but I've got to add something to what you just said, Mike, because this is really important. This is what a number of the party plan type businesses do, and it's worthwhile adapting some of these models because they work. Yeah, and we want to help people generate 500 points of sales each and every month on a consistent basis. What they do when they do their parties, it all looks like it's fun games out the front, but they're actually quite sales driven and target driven behind the scenes. So what they might do is say, you could go to a customer, one of your existing customers, and say, look, we can see that you've bought this product a number of times, what have you, if you'd be happy, to host a small meeting in your home where you can invite your friends. I'll do the presentations on the product, but if we get X number of sales, you'll get this product. If we do this number of sales, you'll get this product. If we do that number, you get this. And so you help to motivate them for how big a free product do you want. It's all based on the number of sales we get that night. And that kind of turbocharges their interest to do that. So kind of give it, and what a neat way when you think about it, to give your own customers a sales target and then incentivize them to hit it. And I think that's fantastic. And you can branch off from that as often as you choose when you're registering new customers at the end of every night, that you do that. There's great potential there. So,
and can I add, do you see that little Mary Donovan little boy that popped up there?
Yes.
And Dave has a little one on too. This is the woman who I didn't meet before 6 o'clock last night that gave a tear-jerking ending to the call. And she said, Mike, in this fast tracked, this is her why when she broke down.
Yeah.
She has a chronic condition that got better. Her why is to live, and her family's in Ireland. So Ben, we'll be coming to Ireland and you can help us when we're over there from the UK.
I would love
She got up at 4 o'clock this morning, has not been able to sleep, and just popped on to meet this crew. So you can fast track in a short period of time. Mike, it was so powerful to hear her share her why. And Michelle or Dr. Stan or someone else who was on the call could attest to that. Very powerful. So
we're glad you're with us on the call.
Yeah.
And hopefully you can feel the sense of community here and the willingness for us to all work together and help each other out. That's what this is all about. So, ladies and gentlemen, we love you lots, as we always say. We really do, and we're really pleased with the feedback that you shared today. I think really, really helpful, really good tips, really good advice. And it's always great to get it from across the board from everyone. So thank you very much. Let's apply what we've learned today. Reach out, do some follow-up, be great friends to people, invite your customers to reconnect, do something fun, and let's get this business moving. Thanks very much. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.